Just waiting on Greeky, I think. Sorry, guys. My bad though, I went AFK on them. So, you can blame me or Recon. You can blame Recon too. That's okay with me. It's always good when people blame Recon instead of me. Oh, here we go. So Greeky is back. And I will just switch over to caster mode. So caster mode, here we go. And spawning in the bottom corner of the map as the blue Persian player, we've got Borg. And spawning in the top corner of the map as the red Greek player, we have Greeky. So it's going to be really nice and interesting to see these guys play their favourite civs into one another. And then the beauty of this pair is that their second favourite civ is the other player's favourite civ. So I'm going to have a absolutely great game here. And again, it's a similarly high level of competition. Greeky versus Borg. Really hats off to Borg and Vindicator for last game. So Borg taking the later barracks to Greeky. Borg has actually just opted to keep gathering wood off that second storehouse. Greeky got his barracks up just about, so he'll probably be looking at putting some early pressure on to Borg, I'd imagine, and trying to force use of the 810 tech just to slow down his eco by another 100 resources. So there's already a villager gathering the sheep and they're stacked right on top of us, so it's not uncommon to see players do at this level, is to gather with a single villager with the sheep under the town centre, rather than have them all on the actual gazelles or on the deer, because even though it might be absolutely optimal, you might risk having your goats or your sheep or your cows poached, and by that I don't mean killed on you, I mean actually stolen from you, and it's not good for you. But anyway, got some early spearmen coming out for Greeky, picked up by Borg, looking to try and wear them down with his scout, which has got a fairly large health pool, so despite being countered by them, can actually really just about pick one off alone. And when they're trying to march down to get a villager kill, can take a fairly reasonable amount of damage, fairly reasonable amount of health I should say, off the spearmen. Some spybar here to defend. In fact, there's enough to actually hold off these early spearmen coming out from Greeky. So they're sort of forced to retreat at this point. Although one of them seems to get a bit stuck around the wood line there. So we've got some more spearmen here to defend from a counter push from Borg if it comes. But both players, I think, are going to be looking at trying to take a quick town centre behind this and trying to get onto their ranged tech as soon as possible. And the Persian player is definitely going to want to be using cavalry as well. Maybe not so much the Greek player, who's got a more, I guess, infantry range conventional army, whereas the Persian generally likes to get a nice mix of all three production facilities. The Saris can be quite good at picking off the Toxotes, but you've got to get in and out with them. Whereas the Asabara, really all you've got to do is try and avoid the spearmen once they've been picked off by your infantry or your range. And right now there's a good spybar count of 8 here versus, sorry, 5 spearmen. And Greeky is going to have to hurriedly try and get some Hypaspis out, but like I said, they're really, the Greeks, they've got this really nice anti-infantry infantry unit. Whereas the Persians are reliant on their infantry just to sort of use in mass numbers early on against spearmen, or to really try and put a bit of pressure on the civs that are going to, and the people that are going to be a bit more bowman oriented early compared to other infantry. So a single worker gets assassinated. So the 9th Sparbara there just picked that single worker off. And this is really nice micro from both players here. Greeky forced to have to split his villages around the town centre in order to keep building it, but does he actually have the units here to do it, or is Borg going to be able to chase him off here? Really nice micro here from both players. Borg doing what he can to pick off a couple of villages, even repositioning Sparbara in amongst this little clusterfuck, and doing a wonderful job at it. Man, I love streaming on my personal stream because I can swear and say what I like. So, see, the last of the Sparbara falling, and the town centre does get finished and eventually, but Borg's is only marginally behind it. It hasn't got any damage taken on it either, so it's not a huge amount of damage. It's only about 1.5k, not quite even, about 1300, 1350 damage. 1325 damage, 24. I thought the longer I just look at it, the more I might as well say what it actually is. Shut up, okay? Alright, so not a lot in Borg's production queue. Couple of villages, handsaw. Still waiting on that second town centre to pop. Greeky. He's got both town centres going. And pickaxe. Now here we go, Borg. Ramping him up on both town centres. Got his stables in production. Greeky still just on the one production facility, the barracks that is. So, sorry about that. I'm trying to use this to be a bit... So, that initial storehouse, on the initial hunt, sorry, does get sniped. Trying a bit of vision, but again, there's only a little bit of food left on the gazelles there. I don't know if Borg was even gathering on it. So, but here, this could be a bit more dangerous for Borg because he's being pushed back off this wood line right now. And he is going to get this range up, but it's going to take a while. He's only got a single villager building it at the moment. And the spearmen there, in amongst the hypers, actually make quick work of a single Asabara coming in at a time. So Greeky is able to put a bit of pressure on his opponent right now. Borg is hurrying to get that range up. It's nearly finished, but he's actually forced all the villagers out just off of being complete. There we go. Greeky now has lost the majority of his forces, and Borg is sending over a single Asabara. So, man, I've loved casting both this game and the last game. It's just been wonderful trading from the get-go. Stables, range coming up from Greeky. So both players opting for a fairly 1-1-1 opening. Borg actually throwing up the 4th production facility of his. Well, Greeky also throws up his 4th, so we've got a second barracks from Greeky, second range from Borg, and the single Asabara of Borg coming in just to try and pick off a villager. Does get microed back by Greeky though, so minimizing the amount of damage he's actually taking there. There's some hypers there just to deal with the single damage Asabara, sorry. So they'll be able to ward him off for now, but in the meantime, this initial storehouse of Greeky's, it's going to get destroyed, and it's actually got a reasonable amount of food still left on it. Most of this hunt is still actually there because he has actually opted to go back on the berries and grab his pickers, and pickers gloves, I think I might have mentioned this before, is actually a 20% upgrade compared to the 10% of hunting dogs. So even though hunts are more worthwhile, when it comes to adding the upgrade in and working it into earlier builds, berries, if you get forced onto them, it's much more worthwhile to take pickers gloves if you're ever worried about getting pushed off in your build. There's no point taking hunting dogs unless you're playing a really aggressive build, or you're going to take it just that little bit later after that time where you're going to get hit and forced off it is going to happen, so you can make the judgment call and pick the right choice for yourself. So smart of Greeky to work that in, because he's actually probably gathering at a fairly reasonable rate still. In the meantime, Borg, good Asavara count to try and deal a bit of damage here, and the Toxotes are going to deal some good damage, but there's no multiplier on them, so it's not going to be the end of the world. The Asavara walking out at about half health, but nothing actually falls there. Whoops. And we've got an armory coming up and another barracks from Borg. So he's got 2 stable, 2 ranged, 2 racks, and his armory. Greeky, 2 stables, 2 ranges, 2 racks, and I'm sure he'll have an armory on the way in about a minute. Man, Borg's macro is just impeccable. Like, no disrespect to Greeky or Notorious, but you sort of really start to see the differences between, I guess, almost perfect and I guess just a fucking perfect macro, really. Because Borg, his macro game on his Persia is just absolutely flawless, and Greeky's isn't bad. Vindicators isn't bad, unless he sort of gets put on the spot from time to time. But Borg is just doing a wonderful job at getting really nice score leads, nice economic leads over these guys. Well, this could be a potentially devastating engagement for either player here. The Saris being individually microed around the back, just to try and pick a couple of bowmen off. They're not going to get the opportunity to snipe any. They do actually get quite low because of the bowmen. They're targeted onto them, so really nice play there by Borg. Greeky also microing his units extremely well, so there's a skill Asbar up the back there. Going to get targeted on the Toxotes. Borg's really got to try and focus down these spearmen, but I think he's going to pick off most of them here. Greeky in the meantime just about clean up the entirety of the front line of Borg, so he seems to be doing a good job of holding for now. Borg's forces are slowly being thinned down, I think, too, so Borg is going to have to pull back here. He's only got really bowmen left, and there's the Sari, a couple of Saris actually, so they're going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Greeky singling them out. I've mentioned this before as well, guys. If you can, the faster you can single out, faster you can single out the cavalry from the rest of your army, the quicker you can make use of the fact that they're going to be about 2 to 4 movement speed faster depending on your civ. So it's really worthwhile to try and rally them out of the rest of your army. Take advantage of the fact that they are faster than everything else. Both players in a bit of a mad scramble to parade push, reinforce in the middle here. Units falling down left, right and centre. Not really a front line left for both players again. A large bowman count. But Greeky actually has the upper hand right now, coming back ahead in terms of score. So he's just really fighting some wonderful fights. Excellent unit choices from both players. Greeky taking some walls behind this. He wants to make sure that Borg isn't going to just be able to raid him to death, and Borg getting some more upgrades. He's got his +1 ranged damage and ranged armor upgrades, and he's got his +1 melee damage upgrade coming in hot. So Greeky, on the other hand, I'll have to see if he's actually, yeah, here we go. So Greeky, on the other hand, is taking his first upgrade, which is his ranged +1 damage upgrade. Well, it's not so much +1 damage, but it's 20%, but it's the tier 1 bonus damage upgrade. Greeky going for a little Sari raid on Borg, wants to try and force him to split his forces up, pull those cavalry out of the composition so he can make good use of the Saris in the fight. I mean, make good use of the Toxotes in the fight, and he might be able to pick a villager off here. Nope, so the villager He's going to get saved. He's going to get healed up. The Asabara, on the other hand, they're all chasing that small number of Saris in the meantime. Greeky is moving in for the kill with this north side army. He's picking off any of the melee caught in the way. And he's going to try and put the ranged army under a bit of pressure now that there's not a huge amount of front line left to defend it. He can really target fire on these single units and kill them quite quick. Take the high threat out of the army and then start focusing on the range. So he's also, I think he's going to try and do a bit of, he is trying to do a bit of work with the Saris, harassing that stone line there. And he's got the other Saris here, wrapping around to try and deal a bit of damage to the back line of the bowmen. And the Toxotes count still up to about 35. Bowman count only about a third of that at the moment, and Greeky aging up a little bit quicker than Borg behind this, who's forced to have to field as much as he can to defend here. But these bowmen of Greeky's, I think, these Toxotes of Greeky's probably overstayed their welcome a little bit. Borg is forcing them back out again, but Greeky, some nice micro to take the last couple of units there, but here we go, there's 5 Asabara out here, just about fully health, except for these 2 here now. So he's just picking up these last couple of spearmen. Not so efficient of a trade for either of the players here. All units individually rallied. Oh, Greeky's must be from when he was pushed right up to here. But he's picking up the rest of these. He's not going to make that mistake any longer. And he's going to try and pick up the front line. Getting some nice shots off, actually. Wow, getting some really nice shots off. Picking off 3 extra Asabara there. It's not often you'd say that the Asabara would get countered by the ranged units, but Greeky's finding out a way to do exactly that at the moment. He's walled up the map completely over his side. Borg, on the other hand, has really only started walling up the top side near where he's intending to take his market, and Greeky seems to be a bit faster on that at the moment, so Borg seems to be ahead in terms of what he's got in the bank, but Greeky seems to be ahead in his timings on a lot of this tech. So in terms of the village accounts, we've got 79 from Borg to 84 from Greeky, so Greeky's slightly ahead, probably largely due to the fact that he's got his market up already. I think they'd be roughly the same in terms of their village accounts. Yeah, so we've got some more caravans coming in. Prodromo's being mixed in because there is a large Asabara count, and there is plenty of spearmen actually to deny this incoming amount of Prodromos though, so well timed from Borg, and he's got some Asabara and some bowman upgrades coming in, so they'll be hitting it just that little bit harder. Greeky, on the other hand, streaming in a good number of units still, and both players still about 150 population. A little bit of resources in the bank, but Greeky a bit low on food at the moment, so we'll have to see if he can manage to keep producing behind this, because Borg's economy is actually really starting to level out now, and he just needs a little bit more gold, but I think Borg might be able to hold for now. Saying that, Greeky has managed to really turn it around with the cavalry counts. Slightly ahead on population here. Borg with a really distant third town centre. I don't know if Greeky actually has his yet. Yeah, no, Greeky hasn't actually taken his just yet, so military upgrades for Greeky in queue now. He's probably still just playing catch up on that. Meanwhile, Borg playing catch up a bit on the market, so slight technology difference there and economy difference, but players taking a big fight now. There's a good bowman count for Borg. Greeky doesn't seem to have a huge front line on him at the moment. Borg still has plenty of Asabara here in the mix, and he's got plenty of Takabara in the mix too, so Greeky probably could have forced out a couple of Peltas as well, because he's probably going to need them. And he's probably going to need more in the way of prodromos, so one of these walls of Greeky's being taken down. He's just made a little concave one just to try and catch that next row. Unlock all the units in actually. You might get a good surround here if you can funnel some units around the other side, but perhaps running the Saris in this way might not be the best idea. So Greeky's Sari count is only down to 2, so he's not going to be able to deal the hugest amount of damage to the ranged Borg, and there's a good number of Takabara mixed in too, so it's really going to hurt the Toxotes count right now. There's not really a front line for this Persian army right now, but I'm not sure if there needs to be one because the Toxotes aren't really going to want to be stepping in here. There's nothing to protect them. And again, Greeky just taking a huge chunking to his Toxotes count right now. Borg with a fairly nice count here. The 5 Takabara mixed in did that much damage. And Borg, with a couple of units funneled around the other side of the map. Greeky, I don't think he really had much of an answer for those at the time, and knew that if they made it up here to this big chunk of villages, he might just lose too many of them. So there's nothing really here to help him defend him against the Takabara. He's a bit slow on getting any pelters, or yeah. GG guys, really well played game. Really nice back and forth game. I'll just check the quest stats for a sec. So, really nice trading. Both players doing a phenomenal job. Trying to keep one another on their toes. Lots of fighting in the mid-map here. Lots of structures under attack, so really nice exchange. Greeky unable to actually get to that gold. I think running out of gold might have been the problem too, because Borg, yeah, the fortress here, protecting that gold mine on Greeky's side of the map, taking this far gold mine. Borg's really just started to bleed Greeky. GG.